up on it, and I'll give Opie credit. As far as silent communication, he's way up there, bro.
Yeah, he's very good.
And I look at Opie like, are you getting this? Just with my eyes. And so Opie goes, no, hold on a second, George. And immediately the figure looks up and goes, yes, sir. And Billy Hayes and me had to leave the studio because it was one of those laughs that you're going to be like, my spleen's going to break. I don't know if you ever laughed so hard that you actually have to leave the room. Like you have to like if you got food in your mouth, but like no food in your mouth. It was the craziest, most insane. And I didn't know if you weren't well. I didn't know if I wasn't well.
Yeah.
You took the space-time continuum and just threw it away.
Oh.
But now you're saying you do that on purpose.
Yeah, to see if anybody will pick up on that. Or why have the dummy at all? Why do an act, you know?
But this is an important podcast, I think, now.
Yeah.
Like, this is better than if we just sat here with George and he called him an Egyptian, homo or something. Because this is... Look, people on Twitter, as soon as you and I started touching each other up on Twitter, at Otto and George and ottoandgeorge.com, as soon as you and I started, trading paint on Twitter, people immediately were like, oh my God, you got to get him on the podcast. Well, I don't know if George is going to come out and call us our mother's twats, but this is way more interesting to me. And you know what? If there's an hour, whose phone is that?
Oh.
I'm kidding.
That might be mine.
I don't really care. This is laid back, as you can tell.
Exactly.
If there's an hour of a podcast where you just finally Otto Peterson can get all the credit coming to him, then so be it.
Great.
George can sit in his stupid box with this
I would have
fragile
flown to LA
sticker.
to do this thing, Jay.
All right.
How long are you in this hotel for? Is it weird living in this is pretty comfortable.
Is it weird?
Yeah.
I pick up the phone, they come make my bed.
Yeah, it's great.
What's weird about it?
What are you here for, like a month?
Yeah. I'll owe money when I
Are you in New York because you like New York in this time of the year, or you just doing some gigs? Or
a lot of gigs. I had Wilbur Theater, Borgata. Borgata actually got literally wiped out.
Yeah.
And then Gotham, Governors in Levittown, a corporate gig last night. I'm going to Philly to do a prostate benefit. Prostate can't. It'd be weird if there was a benefit for prostates. Like, we need a benefit for us.
So the Borgata is not open now?
It's open now, but they're scrambling because there's people like Tony Bennett and Shaka Khan. You got to kind of have to work around their schedules.
okay.
And then the comics come in. That's the weirdest thing about playing a casino is like when you get paid, you go in the office and you're between like Al Green and Tony Bennett, and you're like, what?
Really?
Yeah.
You mean standing there?
No, no, you're an idiot.
Oh.
You had us both. You did a good job.
Yeah, that
You're a
was
good
good.
actor, Joe.
Thank you. I can't cry, though.
I can't either.
Yeah.
It's hard to cry, as you learned.
Yeah.
So
that director was a dick. It wasn't me. I thought I was an amateur. I am an amateur actor. I have no fucking experience.
We're all amateur actors.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we do it as kids for free. When we're children on the playground, you go, hey, let's do...
I can always make you cry.
Yeah, she can cry instantly.
Yeah.
And she can do like a single tear like Denzel.
Wow.
I mean, you have to take her shirt off and whip her.
Yeah. Denzel? Is he? You consider him a good actor? Pelham 1, 2, 3 was shit.
We love him.
We're just kind of the same type.
Yeah.
We're up to the same roles a lot.
Her and Denzel are always up for the same thing. My man.
I think he's a good actor. Somebody once pointed out all his tricks to me, though. Tricks? And then it kind of ruined it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
The
how?
laugh.
What do you mean tricks?
Like-
He always goes, Otto Peterson. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me, right? You tell him you got the figure in the box. You're going to take him out. You're going to
Yeah.
make him tuck.
Yeah.
You're going to take him out. That's what you're telling me, right?
That Pelham 1, 2, 3 was just garbage. Fucking, they didn't even use Gandolfini, and he's a terrific actor.
You know,
I like Denzel
I'm
a
on
lot.
the fence with Gandolfini. Every role he does these voices, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm buying it or not.
Yeah.
Voices. Like Tigger. He
Well-
sounds like this every time I hear him.
Yeah.
That sounded like
No, it's
Colin
like when you
Quinn.
hear him talk as the person that he is, it's weird. It's like he's not Tony Soprano.
I don't know if I wasn't a big Sopranos fan.
Yeah.
All right, you know
So
what?
I
Then
think
this is,
that's-
I can't even talk to you.
I love
Right.
that show. I thought it was a great.
I wasn't a big Soprano fan. What do you like? The irony douche in Brooklyn with the mustache, with the cool record collection? You know, I really wasn't into Sopranos.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a TV.
What
Yeah.
show is that? What are you talking about?
Sopranos?
No, I did. I thought that the.
Here's the mic. There's your mouth.
Jesus.
You guys across the room.
You're
I gotta
breaking
get
my
a boom.
balls.
I gotta get a boom out.
Breaking my balls today. I didn't like The Sopranos. I'm entitled to that opinion.
Yeah, you are for sure.
I mean, I felt like
I
it was
hated MASH.
a
I hated
cartoonish.
MASH.
I hate MASH.
Yeah.
I felt The Sopranos was a cartoonish representation of the Italian culture.
Are you Italian?
Yes.
So you would know?
And we don't talk like that. We don't walk around going, "Hey, the funny big guy."
Yeah, but so,
it was
so is
ridiculous.
Goodfellas. I
No,
mean,
Goodfellas
the real guys that they're depicting, you wouldn't want to see what they do to the, when they're doing the
Goodfellas
hit.
is great. I'll tell you the most realistic
That's
one
a cartoon
is
also.
No,
a real
no.
mafioso is not funny like Joe Pesci. He's not cute. He doesn't have one-liners. Just a murderer. You wouldn't want to see that.
Donnie
in a movie.
Brasco was the best interpretation of any.
Pacino
of it.
was.
It
Yeah.
was so real because it was like low rent.
Punch of salt.
Yeah,
Punch.
yeah. It
It
was
was like-
great to see him playing a low-level thug and not a boss. He
It was.
great.
It's a pinch. It's a punch.
Yeah, he was great in
All the
that.
best chefs.
Yeah,
in
I'm
that.
not a.
He was awesome.
And
in
then all
that.
these guys from The Sopranos, like they're just still hanging around. Like they turn up in all these detergent commercials. And,
Yeah.
I ain't no wise guy with
I'm
my
the
laundry.
Voice, I'm the
It's
voice
just
of the
stupid.
lemon.
Yeah, it's just I don't
But
know.
don't fault them for parlaying being a, you got to keep in mind, Joe. Let me tell you how showbiz works.
I thought.
You got to keep in mind, these guys were number 11 on the call sheet of the greatest show of its era. And then when they got done with James Gandolfini, Edie Falco, and then when they filmed everyone else, they went, "Okay, Sharippa, we got about 10 minutes. Why don't you just say your lines?"
Really?
So if that guy can parlay that into, doing his thing,
I guess
have
so.
at it.
You could also just work harder.
You mean they're not versatile? I know you're saying they're not versatile actors, and do you
I'm
mean-
just saying, it's just
When I got a sore throat, I use Chloroseptic.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's,
Hey,
Yeah.
then my throat feels better.
it's what I mean. It's just annoying after a while. It's like all right, I get it. Like you guys aren't real mobsters. It's like I'm
Yeah.
just getting sick of it. That show that Van Zant did afterwards was a
Lilyhammer?
Lilyhammer.
You didn't
It's
see
like
that?
it's embarrassing.
He plays Syl transported to Norway. It's great though because he brings all his mafia. Did you think that
Like
sucked?
I
Witness
thought it
protection
was like
program?
laughable.
What's that?
Was he in like the witness protection program?
Yeah, exactly. He had to leave for a hit or something.
No,
yeah.
I thought it was
It's a
laughably
great
bad.
wig they put on him.
It was pretty bad, but just to watch him as an actor, I guess I'm more forgiving. I just like to watch him as an actor. I got into it.
Just the whole like this thing, and you can't see this at home, unfortunately. But this thing,
Yeah.
they all do that. Their shoulders are up around their ears.
Stick the
They-
bottom lip out.
Yeah, the bottom lip's out. Hey man, you fucking money
took me a while to-
It's like stop it. It's like ridiculous looking to me.
It took me a while to get over the Syl, the cartoonishness of Syl's character, but I started to like him after a couple of years. I thought that show was amazing.
I lived down on Spring Street in
Yeah.
Thompson for, 8 years?
Yeah.
And, that's when the Chin, Gigante, was walking around the village in
Oh,
his robe
yeah.
and making believe he was crazy so he
Yeah.
didn't have to go to jail. You saw him every day. And when you walk by the social club on Sullivan Street, that's exactly what, there's always one guy with a geranium on his head with his shoulders up like that.
Really?
And there's always, just a guy that looks completely regular. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, Joe DeRosa, at Joe DeRosa Comedy, at Otto and George. But I will. But when Jersey Shore came out and people lost their minds, this is not fair to the people of Jersey. Fuck you. I went to public school in New Jersey, and I got beat up every day by Ronnie, by the situation. That's
I think-
exactly who was in my high school.
I think that show was for people who were in.
That's all there is.
I think that show existed for people that were in Sopranos withdrawal after that went off the air. The Jersey
But I'm saying
Shore
Jersey
took
Shore is
over.
even more. Jersey Shore is a closer representation of
It
the
is.
people I grew up with.
Yeah.
That were Italian.
Well, I'm in no way saying, I don't like The Sopranos because I feel it's an unfair representation. I could give a fuck about my ethnicity at all.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is, and look, there were some great actors. I think Edie Falco is tremendous.
Yeah.
That's the thing about
the
Joe.
guy that
He goes
played
way out to no one has Edie.
Yeah.
the guy that played the nephew, I think is great.
Yeah.
Frank Vincent, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There's some great guys in the show. And I'm not saying Gandalf. I don't think Gandolfini's a shitty actor.
Yeah.
I just didn't think. The argument I always got from that show was, you go, I don't like The Sopranos, and then people would go, why? And you go, because this season stinks. And they go, well, this season and the last season stunk, and the one before that stunk. Seasons 1 and 2 were great, and then it got good halfway through the last season.
No one said
It's
that.
like that's a shit ratio for a TV
no
show.
one said
Oh.
that.
There were those 2 seasons where he was having the dream sequences with the
There was
Russian
only
girl.
one
The last
episode.
season.
There was
No,
only
that
one
was
episode
before
with a
that.
long dream
with
sequence.
the Buddhist monks, and they followed him around.
Well, that was a coma. I don't consider that a dream
That last
sequence.
episode was
Oh, yeah,
was
yeah.
like kind of whatever.
All right.
Well, yeah, but that was a classic David Chase thing in The Sopranos to leave it. What do they call it? Up to you. Whether he's killed or not. And then in every season, the second to last episode was really violent and had a good body count. And
That
then the
was
last
good.
episode was always more about family. So it was in that tradition of the show.
I'm going to take a ton of heat for this on Twitter.
All my friends
For what?
loved it.
Because people would just tell you you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm an idiot. I think I got a really valid argument here.
You're an intellectual, and you let the listeners know that you think Edie Falco is a good actress. That's mighty wide.
She is. Hey, she's got a new hit TV show.
Yeah, and we all know it. That's why it's like, this De Niro kid, keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Well, no, I'm not
Falco.
saying. I'm not saying it.
Yelling at me.
I'm
sitting right next
not. I'm
to
not
you.
saying it.
What are we, a game?
Because the mic's fucking 3 feet away from us.
What do we have,
I'm
Van
not,
Halen with Gary
Yeah.
Sharon?
I'm not saying it like that. Like Edie Falco is good. She's got my butt. What I'm saying is, so you don't think I'm a moron. I think Edie Falco is a good actor.
Tony!
I think there are a lot of good actors on the show. I'm not including her and some other people when I say, I couldn't stand all these people going around with their shoulders up
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
air. That's
All
all.
right, let me
I'm
tell you
saying.
something.
Yeah.
There are 5 shows in our lifetime. Everyone in this room. There are 5 shows in our lifetime that matter.
Yeah.
You can count them. Sopranos, The Wire, what else?
A lifetime.
Mad Men.
Mad Men is way up
never
there. I
seen
might
that
put
one.
Mad Men up top,
Never
actually.
seen that one.
I might
Mad-
put Mad Men on top of all of them. But
Lost, I would say, was.
You know what?
Look, I'm not a fan.
Really?
Hold on a second. I'm
He's
not
a
a
fucking smoke monster.
Hold on a second. I'm not a fan.
He wasn't kidding. It made it funnier than he was serious. I thought you were making a joke.
No.
I go, Mad Men, The Wire, Sopranos, and Joe goes, Lost. Don't
I'm not
forget
a fan,
Lost.
but everybody was talking about that
Small
fucking
Wonder.
show for
What
years.
about that little robot
Yeah,
girl
yeah,
cleaning the
yeah,
house? Little Wonder, Vicky, Small Wonder.
Everybody talked about that fucking show for years, Lost. People wouldn't shut the fuck up about
No,
it.
I'm talking about shows that actually they transcend television. And they were super. It's important. Like The Sopranos was
I mean-
an actual. These were people that lived. Like you never thought. Like JJ from Good Times walks in. There's a laugh track. It's a thing. And that's one of the great. Or Sanford and Son, one of the best shows of all time. Or even MASH, which neither one of you like.
Yeah.
These are seminal shows, huge shows.
Yeah.
But you knew it was a put on. You knew you knew it wasn't a real operating room. But The Sopranos, it was appointment television. You had to get home
Yeah,
because it was
exactly.
starting.
Yeah.
And if you missed it, you missed out.
Yeah.
It felt like a put on to me, man. I didn't think it was anywhere near as believable as Goodfellas, Godfather, Donnie Brasco, The Sicilian. I mean, I can name a million fucking mob movies that I thought did it better.
We're talking
I mean,
about-
Analyze This was more
Yeah,
believable.
but
No, I'm
you're
kidding.
missing
I'm
the point.
joking.
The
I'm
Sopranos
joking.
was a comedy, set in
Yeah, but
with
he's
drama
looking-
components.
Was it a comedy?
I looked at it as a
I
comedy.
left my balls off at it, but I got to
I-
interrupt Otto and
Yeah.
go back to Joe. Like you mentioned movies. See,
Right.
your own argument against is an argument for that you took the greatest mob movies
Right.
and you're holding a weekly television show in that category with mob movie. It's not a mob movie, Joe. It's a series that every week you had to get new characters in and out. How do we cover her being gone? What do we do with the Russian guy that ran into the woods?
Yeah.
Don't get cunty, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Like there was
Watch
so
it, Chrissy.
many moving parts. You know what I mean? In a movie, it's based on a book. You write it, you film it, it's done. The Sopranos was like this amorphous, moving thing that lived, and
And-
we all watched it live, and we didn't feel like it was a put on. We were eavesdropping on this real thing that was going on.
And you're going to tell me that it is not the common belief of the fan base of this show that there were at least 3 doozy seasons of this show.
Absolutely not. I will say
Come on.
a season, and you're telling me the listeners of more stories.
Well, I don't know about the listeners in particular. I'm talking about just
That's
the
what you just
No, I
said.
said
Yeah.
the fan. No. The fans of the show mean The Sopranos. I'm sorry,
Oh.
I didn't mean of more stories specifically.
I think people are super mad at the way it ended, but 5-6 years later, we all talk about it. So apparently, David Chase is a genius because we're all sitting around going, "That was really weird, that
Yeah.
ending." And
That's like saying
I know.
that the Attack of the Clones was brilliant because we're still talking about what a letdown of a Star Wars movie it was. It wasn't brilliant. Some of us liked it, some of us didn't. But it did not live up to the caliber that it should have at the end of the day. And the last episode of The Sopranos, I'm sorry, ended with a fucking film school trick. Oh, I'm going to build a little bit of tension, then I'm just going to do the cut to black.
Yeah.
I mean, that is freshman
Because
year
life-
short film shit.
It was a Jep. It
Because
was a
life
Jeppy
goes
ending.
on. It's
You
the
know,
same thing they did in Barfly. It starts the same way it ends. Life goes on.
You know
Nothing
what?
changes.
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
agree with that. But I mean,
Let
if
Otto
he,
talk.
If he had ended, with the machine gun that Bacala gave him, just mowing down people and then getting shot, it would have